Imagine you're in a meeting. You've been working hard all week, but halfway through, you can already tell which idea is going to get the green light. Not because it's the best idea, but because you know exactly how your boss thinks. This isn't intuition. It's a skill you've honed without even realizing it. A skill that might be costing you more than you think. You don't wait to be told what to do anymore. Halfway through a meeting, you already know which idea is going to get the green light. You write emails in a certain way because you remember once it got it. There's no manual for this. It's not in your job description, but you're fluent in it. This isn't a talent. It's an operating system update you didn't consciously install. That thing you call knowing what the boss wants, it's not intuition. It's a high-stakes decoding game, and you're playing it on expert mode, whether you signed up for it or not. This isn't about calling you a suck-up. It's about pulling back the curtain on the quietest, most expensive skill you never meant to learn. First, let's locate you. You're not being political. You're being rational. In a world where one person's mood can outweigh a spreadsheet of data, reading that person becomes your most valuable and most draining job. Check your own metrics. Is your accuracy in predicting your boss's unspoken thoughts now higher than your accuracy in predicting market shifts? When you look at a project plan, does your mind jump first to, is this good, or how will this be seen? Do you have a part of your brain that's permanently dedicated to running simulations of someone else's potential reactions? If that sounds familiar, you're not weak. You're optimized. You've adapted perfectly to the system's hidden curriculum. But here's the catch. Every skill you gain here is paid for with a skill you lose somewhere else. This isn't an accident. It's by design. When real results are hard to measure, but one person's opinion is easy to feel, the game changes. The goal stops being do great work and becomes be perceived as doing the right great work. And that perception game has a serious price tag. The cost comes in 3 layers, each worse than the last. Level 1, the tax on your time, the black box tax. Think about the most powerful person in your company. How do they make decisions? If the answer is, it depends, or even worse, it's just their gut feeling, then you're dealing with a black box. This means you're not just guessing about the outcome, you're constantly trying to decode a system that's hidden from you. And it's exhausting. You can't see the mechanism, you can only see the outputs. So what do? You become an archaeologist of their preferences. You analyze their word choices in memos. You read meaning into who they had lunch with. You spend hours crafting a presentation, not just to be clear, but to feel like something they'd come up with. This is the first cost. Pure intellectual drain. Your brain power, which could be solving real problems, is instead spent trying to reverse engineer a mystery. You're paying a tax just to guess what the rules are. Here's a test. Next time you're preparing something for a key person, ask, how much of this effort is about the content and how much is about packaging it for a specific mind? Level 2, the corruption of your judgment, the loyalty rewrite. This is where it gets dangerous. It's no longer just about your time, it's about your internal compass. I've seen this in tech. A founder falls in love with a specific, elegant technical approach. Suddenly, engineers aren't debating what's most effective. They're debating what feels most aligned with the founder's philosophy. The best solution isn't the one that works best. It's the one that signals understanding and loyalty most clearly. At this point, what was once clear, what's good and right, starts to blur. You no longer judge something purely on its merits. Instead, you start asking yourself, will this earn me approval? And slowly, without realizing it, your own sense of integrity begins to shift. You don't lose your skills, but you start applying them through a filter you didn't choose. You begin to lose the ability to judge things on their own merit. The cost is no longer ours, it's your professional integrity. Level 3, the loss of your freedom, the fear lock-in. The final and most effective layer isn't about reward, it's about punishment. In places like high finance, the risk isn't in missing a bonus. The risk is in accidentally making a senior person feel disregarded. A slight, real or imagined, can cost more than a numerical error. So people build elaborate rituals, pre-meeting meetings, carefully worded caveats, layers of soft praise, all designed to preemptively soothe ego. At this point, aligning with preferences stops being a strategy. It becomes a reflex, a cage of your own making. You're not thinking, this will help me. You're thinking, this will prevent disaster. The cost is your autonomy. You train yourself out of optional moves, one fear at a time. Now, a vital mental move. The discomfort you feel, that's not you failing. It's you succeeding at a bad game. The part of you that's good at reading the room and avoiding trouble is just that, a part. It's not the whole of who you are. Your job is to remember there's a difference between the player and the person. So, what can you do inside the machine? You can't quit the game, but you can run some diagnostics. 1, the signal audit. For 1 week, tag your actions, which are driven by data/logic, which are driven by someone's likely preference. Just the act of noticing begins to break the spell. 2, the value alarm. When was the last time you felt the pure, clean satisfaction of solving a hard problem for its own sake? If it's been a while, that's an alarm. Your reward circuitry is being hijacked by approval. Go find a small, real problem and solve it just for you. 3, the low-stakes rebellion. In a completely safe setting, a throwaway meeting, a non-critical email, try saying the slightly more direct version of your thought. Omit 1 layer of cushioning. Watch. Nothing will happen. This proves the prison door is often unlocked. You just stop checking. Let's kill some comforting lies. The meritocracy lie, that the best work always rises. In a black box system, unaligned excellence isn't celebrated. It's seen as a problem to be fixed. And here's the real kicker. What happens when you've been so caught up in aligning yourself that you stop thinking critically about the work itself? But here's where it gets even more dangerous. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into how this alignment becomes a habit and how you might already be too deep to see it. The "it'll get better" lie, that the system will become more objective. Ambiguity is a feature, not a bug. It's how power stays flexible. The "I'm above this" lie, we're all playing. The only choice is whether you're playing consciously or on autopilot. So your paths are limited, and they all have a price. You can go all in, master the game, and let it reshape you. You can live a double life, playing the game at work and trying to remember who you are at home. Or you can find a quieter corner of the system where the game is less intense and pay for your peace with obscurity. But the default path, the one most people are on, is the most expensive. Playing the game full-time while pretending you're not, and wondering why you feel so tired and empty. You don't need a grand exit strategy today. You just need to start seeing the price tags on your own behavior. And once you start seeing that, you'll notice the system's final trick. It doesn't want you thinking about alignment forever. It wants alignment to become automatic. effortless, like breathing. How does a calculated strategy turn into an unthinking habit? How do you know if you're using the system or if it's already reprogrammed you? That's when the real training is complete. And that's exactly what we'll break down next time. L3-24, Why Obedience Becomes a Habit, and how to spot if it's already happening to you.